Hey, it's Mike. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. Did you know that if you're a military retired or a veteran, there is a way to fly in the U.S. without a real ID driver's license or passport? Let's check it out. Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Kathy from Vets on Vacay.
As a retired Navy family that loves to travel, we need to find ways to save money and take advantage of military discounts to help stretch our dollars.
Join us as we share our adventures, tips, and discounts to help you plan and save on your next adventure.
Let's start with the who, what, why, and when of Real ID. So the Real ID Act was passed in 2005 to establish the minimum security standards for federal and state issued IDs, including driver's licenses and passports. All 50 states, the District of Columbia, and all 5 territories currently have Real ID compliant IDs. All adults need to have a Real ID in order to fly in the US domestically. If you're under 18 years old, you don't need to have a Real ID. On May 7th, 2025, the TSA started enforcing Real ID at the airports for all persons traveling domestically. If you have a current US driver's license or state ID card with a star in the upper right-hand corner, you know you're Real ID compliant. One exception to that, well, a couple exceptions to that is California has a grizzly bear with a white star inside, same location. And Illinois has a white star cut out in a gold circle. You still need a passport to travel internationally. That includes Mexico and Canada. But what if your driver's license is not Real ID compliant or you don't have a US passport? Well, if you're a retired military or a veteran, you got a couple options. If you're retired military, you can get the Next Generation Uniform Services ID card or Next Gen US ID. The Next Gen US ID is designed with new security features, making it more difficult to counterfeit. This applies to the dependents as well. It's the same card. If you currently have one of the blue, pink, or tan ID cards, which indicate retired, reserve, or dependents, you will need to update those cards to the new Next Gen US ID by the end of 2025. As of January 2026, only the Next Gen US ID will be considered Real ID compliant and acceptable ID. It'll also be the only one that'll allow you to get base access. There are actually some bases now are not accepting the old ID. You got to have the new one, the new Next Gen US ID. If you're a veteran and have access to the VA healthcare system, you can get what's called the Veterans Health Identification Card, or VHIC. Thing about the VHIC is it has the same security features as the Next Gen US ID, so making it Real ID compliant. Big deal. You can get it either online, which takes about 5 minutes to do, or you can go ahead by scheduling an appointment with your nearest VA medical center with an enrollment coordinator, and you can get it that way. You will need a valid ID that shows your name, current address, and date of birth, along with a photo, like a passport photo, crop down passport photo, which you can take yourself. The rules, the requirements for that photo, you can find them on the VA website. So check those out. We'll put the link down below. There are a few eligibility requirements for the VHIC. One, you have to have served on active duty and been discharged with anything other than a dishonorable. If you were in the National Guard or the Reserves, you had to have been called up for active duty under federal orders and served out your entire active time and been discharged. If you were called up for training purposes only, that does not qualify you for VA health services. There was an older card called a Veterans Identification Card. If you have one of those, that's not Real ID compliant. You got to get one of these VHICs. Okay. The cool thing is you can get on base with the VHIC. You can't do that with the old VIC. You can with the VHIC. So, and take advantage of those services on the base. Of note, veterans dependents cannot get the VHIC. They're not eligible. Remember, guys, if you currently have the older US IDs or the VIC, you will need to update to the Next Gen US ID or Veteran Health Identification Cards for them to be Real ID compliant for travel and base access. I put the links for the Next Gen US ID and the VHIC in the description below. So just remember, when you're planning your next travel, Real ID is real and the TSA is checking. If you found this information helpful, please like and subscribe to be notified when future videos come out. For Vets on Vacay, this is Mike.